Tonight, local RCMP have released a shocking video to the public of an armed robbery that took place last December, hoping for leads on the suspect. Plus, in a recent interview with CKPG News, federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre spoke on the issue of crime as well as the catch and release policy. And the regional district is looking at funding options for their portion of a potential new surgical tower hospital upgrade. Good evening, I'm Eddie Huband and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight is more violence on local streets, as Prince George RCMP are asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect in a shocking armed robbery that occurred back on December 18, 2023. And a warning, some of this footage is disturbing.
Hey, give me the money. Good, let's go. You want to die?
As you can see, the suspect entered a gas station on the 11400 block of Carmel Drive around 6:30 and pointed a firearm at the lone employee, demanding money from the till. The suspect is seen wearing a black hoodie with a photograph of the McLovin ID from the movie Superbad on the front. He also has black pants and a black face covering. If you have any information on who the suspect is or their current whereabouts, please contact investigators by calling the Police George RCMP non-emergency line at 250-561-3300.
We're hoping this audio will kind of spark someone's recognition for the voice that's heard on the video, and may help kind of jog someone's memory as to who this might be, because the individual is wearing a hood and a mask, so perhaps facial recognition might not be as easy, but maybe coupled with the voice we'll get a little bit more of a solid lead. Every investigation is different. Sometimes we are able to release videos at the outset of an investigation. Other times we try and exhaust other avenues of investigation before we release our videos, and this is one of those cases where we exhausted some other leads that we had before releasing the video in the hopes that the other leads would pan out first. Unfortunately, they did not, and here we are asking the public for their help in identifying the suspect from this December 2023 armed robbery.
As part of a CKPG News exclusive interview, the federal leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, said he was taking aim at crime and repeat offenders in the run-up to 2025's federal election, with a simple catchphrase, jail, not bail. But when it comes to dealing with repeat offenders, the RCMP superintendent here in Prince George says they are having some success. Adam Burrows reports.
Federal leader of the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, is making crime, particularly repeat offenders, a major focus point of his campaign to become Prime Minister in the next federal election.
We need to stop the crime with jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders by securing our borders against illegal import of drugs and guns, and instead of the NDP Liberal plan to ban hunting rifles.
When it comes to how our criminal justice system deals with repeat offenders, Poilievre puts the blame squarely on the federal government.
Bill C-75 allows repeat offenders to be out on bail within hours of arrest. Then they promptly reoffend.
The government's aim with Bill C-75 is to, quote, modernize and clarify interim release provisions to simplify the forms of release that may be imposed on an accused. And a change was made in the criminal code to reflect that, saying that a judge shall, quote, give primary consideration to the release of the accused at the earliest reasonable opportunity and on the least onerous conditions that are appropriate, meaning that every case will be different. In Prince George, 2 officers are specifically dedicated to dealing with repeat offenders in collaboration with other parties.
It's a cooperative effort with Community Corrections, BC Corrections, Crown Council, and police, really to focus on repeat violent offenders.
And Superintendent Sean Wright says that they're having success so far.
We've got 12 or 14 individuals identified on that list, and we've had really good success with getting charges approved and having them remanded in custody pending trial. For those specific individuals based on their history. So far, our early results are that program's working really well.
In January, Bill C-48 was passed, which forces the accused in certain cases to demonstrate why they should be released on bail rather than requiring prosecutors to prove why they should remain in custody. Adam Burrows, CKPG News.
During committee last week in Ottawa, MP for Skeena-Bulkley Valley Taylor Bachrach passed a motion for parliamentary hearings to be held on the ongoing loss of postal service in rural and remote communities. Bachrach says he was glad to be able to use his role on the Government Operations Committee to bring Parliament's attention to this issue. In his riding, the communities of Atlan and Southbank lost their post offices for long periods, eventually having service restored. But Bachrach says that rural and remote communities across the country still face the risk of losing their post office.
Since the 1994 moratorium on the federal government closing post offices came into effect, we've still lost hundreds of rural post offices across the country. And that's happening because Canada Post is essentially privatizing services. And when the privatization doesn't work, what they call the franchise model, communities are ending up with those community mailboxes on the side of the road. The committee is going to be hearing from the head of Canada Post. We're going to ask questions of Canada Post, as well as the Postmasters Union. And we're going to hear from rural communities that have been affected by the loss of mail service. This is a big issue for places that I represent, and hopefully at the end of the study, we'll have some strong recommendations for the federal government.
The cost of a major health facility has become a hotly contested issue here in town. The long-promised surgical tower at the University Hospital of Northern BC is becoming a source of concern for the organization responsible for funding a good portion of the bill. Cheryl Jan has the story.
It has been a project on the books for years, but the bill for the surgical tower has come to attention. The tower would include cardiac care, services for mental health and addictions, and new operating rooms. At last count, the bill for the new surgical tower is $625 million. As per legislation, the Regional Hospital District, part of the Regional District of Fraser-Fort George, is responsible for 40% of that bill. That's $247,300,000.
We have to be clear, there's going to be a significant cost expectation, funding expectation with the regional district here in Prince George and in the north. So, you know, taxpayers need to understand that this is going to cost a significant amount of money, and the longer we take to get the project underway, we see the costs rising.
The regional district has a population of around 100,000 total.
The biggest challenge in Northern Health is because we are so sparsely populated. We are the largest health authority in the province. We don't have the properties and the high value properties to be able to pay for these things.
It's a sentiment City Councillor and Regional District Director Brian Skaken agrees with.
We need a surgical tower, but we don't get acknowledgement for our contributions for all the improvements at the hospital here. The province has said nothing about us when it comes to our contribution. And the Hospital District Act is just a way to just download health costs onto local taxpayers. So there's a lot of pushback now. And again, it's an election year, but we have to try and drive some of those costs down, because in the end, we don't have a say. If the province says, 800 million, you guys are responsible for 40, that's a law.
Shirley Bond says there is the issue of relevancy given the magnitude of the project and the demographic it serves.
Of course there's only one taxpayer. My concern remains that it has taken too long, the costs are increasing, we're seeing the impacts on patients and staff, so we should get to the table and have a discussion about who's going to pay for this project and get moving.
She adds the state of healthcare facilities in the north also speaks to attractiveness of the region for recruitment. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
The City of Prince George has given the green light to wildfire mitigation contractors to start thinning and removing dead wood from the city's lands at risk of escalating a forest fire. The months-long mitigation project is set to begin at the back of the Van Way Fire Hall. Dave Branco has the story.
Contract crews responsible for wildfire mitigation have started clearing out potential fire accelerants to prevent the rapid spread of wildfire. It is aimed to slow down the intensity of the flames should the wildfire encroach upon the city's borders. The forested area is near Fire Hall number 3.
For this particular project, we've identified a forest that's high risk based on the forest composition, and we're doing fuel management to alter that composition to reduce the potential flammability.
The project aims to remove fire fuels from the area and keep it a healthy, functioning forest.
Yeah, generally in a wildfire, the stuff that's closest to the ground is going to be the most flammable. So what we do is we try and remove the smallest trees, the shrubs, but we also want to ensure that we're protecting those larger trees and keeping those so that the larger trees remain, kind of to create a bit of a parkland sort of atmosphere.
The city's community wildfire protection plan includes identifying areas of high risk, and this is part of that plan.
It's being done, $200,000 of the program is being done under the Union of BC Municipalities CRI fund, and then another $53,000 of that is coming from the city.
Similar mitigation work was done in the Malaspina neighborhood last year.
Starting mid-January and finishing around the end of August, and public reception was pretty positive. Lots of people were very excited to see the equipment out there and doing this similar work where we were kind of mitigating that wildfire hazard for that part of the community.
The idea here is that we're not going to be eliminating wildfire, but we're going to be creating an environment that's really advantageous to the BC Wildfire Service or the fire department when they need to come in and suppress the fire, or if there's a larger fire, they have a really good opportunity to build off this area and build a fire line and limit the spread into the community.
The city will avoid cutting mature trees and those crucial to animal habitats. The 17-hectare project is expected to wrap up by the end of August. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
City Council has gotten on board with a new campaign to support troops in the province, much as many other provinces have, and the timing couldn't be better.
Council has added the city's name to a letter inked to the minister responsible for ICBC in support of this province joining the Support Our Troops license plate program.
A program similar to BC Parks license plates where you pay an increment over and above the regular fee, and those dollars go to help that charitable cause. And so in this case, in Ontario, in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, if you so choose, you can pay an additional fee, and those funds through your license plate will help support things like summer camp programming for military families to send their kids off, or scholarships, educational opportunities.
So what is the buy-in from those other provinces?
Hearing lots of buy-in, lots of support from provincial and federal leaders throughout BC. On the local level, there's a number of different communities that have done it. The survey itself is aimed at individuals.
BC already has veterans plates, so what's the difference?
So this would be a custom license plate, a vanity plate with a signature yellow ribbon, which is the program's icon, and you would be then able to support same as some might in other provinces with a sports team as example.
And the timing is perfect given ICBC's appetite for this program.
The ICBC has recently had an engagement process. It opened in the fall of 2023 and just closed at the end of January, and so lots of conversation was sparked through that, and so the provincial government is looking for this feedback now, and that's why Council, the City of Prince George, has decided to add their voice.
The letter of support will make a repeat performance at the upcoming meeting of the North Central Local Government Association AGM in May. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
Meanwhile, back here in Prince George, Winterfest is returning this weekend, and while there isn't much snow on the ground this time, the organizers are still looking forward to having a great event. Veterans Plaza near City Hall will transform into a winter playground as multiple activities will be underway. The event starts at 11 a.m. and the Royal Canadian Legion will hold a pancake breakfast as well as serving hot dogs in the afternoon. People of all ages can make and take home some crafts, all being held outside the Legion. Outside, the Cottonwood Express will also be running, providing rides throughout the day. And there's also going to be a snow wall, ice slides, and interactive ice sculptures.
Downtown Winterfest this year, it's back. We're glad to see a little bit more winter. This year we will be a little light on snow, but we're going to be heavy on fun. We definitely have our sculpture artist, Peter Vogler's coming, so he'll be doing his sculptures mostly with ice this year. We get our ice from Ness Lake. We work with Ness Lake Bible Camp, so that's quite a nice little partnership. But we will have the mini rail, we will have s'mores, we will have an outdoor food court.
Good evening, everybody. A spectacular weather week is what we're in store for. It is going to be really beautiful out there. Lots of sunshine. Today was lovely. Going forward into the next several days, it's nothing but a mix of sun and cloud, really. And you can see on our map, the yellow is indicating that drier, milder trend in some places, but not so much where we are, but certainly a drier trend for sure. Along coastal sections, it could be a bit milder, but we're going to see the temperatures really start to go down through the overnight lows into our daytimes. Wind chills as well will be a factor. And of course, I'll break all of those details down for you coming up in our main forecast. But yes, it is going to be a pretty nice and bright one, that's for sure. Our air quality today in Prince George and Vanderhoof, the readings were good. And in Quesnel, the reading today was fair. Our snapshot of the day presented by Tourism Valemount is from David Greenberg. Thank you so much, David, for sharing this with us. It's a high above Crooked River shot for everybody, which is south of Bear Lake, and we really appreciate you sending that. Speaking of Valemount, we want to let everybody know about Valemount's Winterfest happening this Family Day long weekend on February 17th. It is going to be a fabulous, fabulous evening from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Lots and lots of activities for the whole family, the kids included, and of course it's just going to transform the village into a winter wonderland. So celebrate the season on February 17th, and that will be quite a fun evening for sure. And I will be back a little bit later on with a look at your forecast.
Thanks very much, Tanya. Sounds good. We will check back in later on in the show. On Saturday, the Prince George Symphony Orchestra gave its annual Discovery concert, giving audiences the chance to not only enjoy some great music, but learn a little bit about it. Tommy Osborne was at the show to share us what he and the audience discovered.
In the same way Antonin Dvorak discovered North America in his New World Symphony, the PGSO and conductor Michael Hall helped the audience discover the magic behind the music through its annual Discovery concert. The concert's first half is spent breaking down the music and history behind it, while the second half is spent enjoying the piece itself.
Dvorak writes out the fluttering and flying of the birds by writing trills throughout this section. Now, a trill is when two adjacent notes are played alternately very, very quickly, sounding like this.
The Discovery concert is a great opportunity to showcase the wonderful nuances of classical music, and Hall believes learning about a piece is not only interesting, it also adds to how much you can enjoy it.
I often liken it to if you go to a museum and you get one of these tours on the phone, you pick up and then you look at a painting, let's say, and you've always loved the painting. It's beautiful, everything is lovely, but then you find out more about how the lighting is or what was the artist trying to portray, and it opens up new vistas when you look at this painting from that point on. So it's the same idea with a great piece of classical music. The more you know, I really feel the more you'll appreciate it, and therefore the more you'll enjoy it.
Well, the audience behind me certainly enjoyed Michael Hall's fantastic explanations of not only what was going on with the musical aspect of it, but the history behind the piece as well. Let's hear from some of the audience members what they thought of Michael Hall's wonderful and engaging but easy to understand presentation.
I knew that New World Symphony had to do with North America and the experience of North America through the eyes of someone from Europe. But I didn't understand the different things that he was seeing. You can hear it in his music, but to hear it broken down into what he was actually bringing out was really cool.
With the show resulting in a standing ovation, there's no doubt the Discovery concert not only made music more accessible to the audience, but also made it a much better experience. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Beautiful. And during the concert on Saturday, the Prince George Symphony Orchestra gave a respectful acknowledgement pledge to the Lheidli First Nation. The pledge acknowledges the traditional and unceded ancestral lands of the First Nation, and it's one of several pledges the Lheidli has received, as other organizations like UNBC, CNC, the City of Prince George, and more have also given these pledges. The PGSO was gifted a plaque from the First Nation to hang in the office, and it added that this is one of several ways the PGSO has demonstrated its commitment to reconciliation. Rather than just words, it says the PGSO has taken reconciliation.
PGSO and Lheidli have been working very cooperatively for a couple of years now after the symphony asked a simple question. What can we do with our First Nation to recognize and acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional unceded territory of the Lheidli? And lo and behold, that has included such things as working with our own Lheidli singer-songwriter, award-winning singer-songwriter Kim Gucci, and also doing some work with our Clegg-Litany drum group, the Cashtan Drummers. So tonight is just another step in what's been a wonderful few years of relationship building between Clegg-Litany and PGSO.
As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.42.9 per liter at Costco. That's also the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.25.1 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.63.3 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The Prince George Cougars welcomed the Victoria Royals to town this past weekend, a heated division battle with 4 points on the line in 2 games. Anthony Correa is here to break down the weekend where the Cougars had the opportunity to run away with the BC division.
Cougars welcoming the Victoria Royals for a 2-game set. We start with Friday's action where PG showed their dominance. 2 goals in the first period from Hunter Lang and Matteo Denis, a second period goal from Ephraim McNutt, and Andre Becker closing it out in the third. Josh Ravensbergen turning aside 19 of 20 on his way to a 4-1 victory, and Prince George has the upper hand on the weekend. Then there's Saturday's game. Boy, was this one a doozy. PG once again flexing their offense, scoring 4 goals in the first period, 2 from Hunter Lang, 1 from Zach Funk, and a special marker from Tarek Parasak.
Here's Height, shoots to the goal, scores! Tarek Parasak scores his 31st of the year! The super rookie sets a super record! The most goals by a rookie in Prince George Cougar history!
The super rookie making history, and it's 4-1 heading to the second period, and that's where things go haywire. 1, 2, 3, 4 unanswered goals by the Royals in the middle frame. All of a sudden, Victoria has a 5-4 lead. Josh Ravensbergen pulled for Ty Young in the third period, and we're underway for an exciting final period of hockey. And I'll let Cole Waldy take you from here in the third.
Pasternak's pass is blocked, and the Cougars take it away. It's Zach Funk, shoots, scores! Here's Height, cross speed to Zane, goes to Mellis, backhand, he scores! Here comes Becker, he'll wind in right wing, Andre Becker in the middle, to Zach Funk, shoots, he scores! Hat-trick goal for Zach Funk, and the Cougars lead 7-5. He will wind his way in, nice move, look at Dumansky, to Lang, cross-side scores! He's getting closer. Here's McNutt, he'll wind his way, a nice move, shoot, score!
5 straight goals from the Prince George Cougars. 2 from Zach Funk as he records his 7th hat-trick of the year, the most hat-tricks in a single season for Cougars history. Boreavalis gets 2 in the third, and Ephraim McNutt with a WHL highlight of the night. Prince George with a big 9-6 final score, and an exciting weekend overall for the players.
The TSX is up 58 points to close at 21,067. The Dow Jones is up 126 points to close at 38,797. And CN Rail went down 35 cents to close at $172.66.
Good evening again, everyone. We're in for lovely sunny sky this week. We're very lucky across the province. You can see on our satellite as we look back from earlier this afternoon, the nice clearing. Of course, mix of sun and cloud is a good way to sum up the next few days. So there's no disturbances. There's all this nice blue sky back here, and that's going to take hold of the province really for the whole week. So looking at the futurecast, a very slight chance of flurries in our forecast here in Prince George for this evening. But going forward into the overnight period, we will definitely clear out. So temperatures are going to be a bit colder through the overnights going forward in and around our region, just because we won't have that cloud cover to insulate us. So for sure, it will be very chilly, especially through the overnights and early mornings. We've got wind chill values to take into account as well, but no major disturbances or weather patterns that will be bringing any moisture. 9 degrees in Vancouver tomorrow. It's a little bit milder along coastal sections, but lots of bright sky across the province. -1 is where we'll get to tomorrow, and we are anticipating again for it to feel a little bit more like -11 at times, just with a bit of a wind. Up in the Peace, 0 and sunshine, absolutely spectacular everywhere we go, even down through the Okanagan and the southern interior as well. So a beautiful, bright forecast, and it's so nice to be able to report that, of course, for most of the week. -1 in Quesnel, Vanderhoof, a little bit cooler for Fort St. James tomorrow, but the sunshine will be abundant everywhere you go. It'll be fantastic. Yes, we might need to bundle up a little bit, especially in the early part of the day or the early mornings, but the sunny sky is going to be so pleasant. So really nice weather right across much of the country, actually. It's a little bit back and forth. We've got some snow moving through parts of the prairies, so -4 Regina and expecting snow there, but a different story as we go over to Winnipeg. -1, mainly cloudy, a few sunny breaks, and then again further east it's sunshine in some areas and forecasting a few flurries or rain showers in others, but temperatures are okay, not as cold as some places have seen over the last little while. Mostly sunny later into our week, and again, as I mentioned earlier, it is right through the week that we see this high pressure really holding. So again, temperatures very cold through the overnight period. You can see that here for Burns Lake down to -19, but up to about -1 or close to the freezing mark for the next few days for daytime highs. Wednesday night will be very cold. Lots of sunshine though for the daytimes. Mackenzie -18, clear and much colder tonight and going into the next few nights, and daytimes though it does get pretty nice out there. The sunny sky making it feel a little bit warmer, hopefully at times. -3 expected for tomorrow's afternoon. In McBride, sitting around 0 for tomorrow. Again, a little bit of snow tonight is possible, but that's pretty much it for the rest of the week. There's no sort of patterns or weather makers that we're tracking just yet. -11, mainly clear skies in Quesnel. We've got plenty of sunshine for you right through the week. A little bit chilly though at times. Again, factoring in a bit of a wind chill some days as well. -10 for us tonight, clear skies. It'll feel a little bit colder than that tonight and into our day tomorrow, but plenty of sunshine. -1 for the next few days and lots of beautiful blue sky to enjoy. Get outside, make sure you just bundle up and get out for a nice walk, because it is going to be a really nice dry and sunny trend.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
Plenty of sporting events were on the docket of the weekend as both the Spruce Kings and UNBC T-Wolves were in action Friday and Saturday. Here's Anthony Correa to give you the scores and a quick rundown of local sports.
Thanks, Eddie. We start with the Spruce Kings, who had a dreadful weekend in the BCHL. Friday, the team was in Salmon Arm trying to defeat the Silverbacks for just the second time this year. Game was close after 2 periods before the Backs pulled away in the 3rd period. Spruce Kings lose 5-2, and we won't bother you showing Saturday's highlights because there weren't any. Prince George gets obliterated 8-0 by the Penticton Vs. They lose both on the weekend and now head to the island for a 3-game road trip. To hoops now as both the UNBC men's and women's team welcome the Saskatchewan Huskies to town. The women put up a valiant effort over the weekend but couldn't come away with any victories. Unfortunately, the team didn't qualify for the playoffs, but they did honor senior Rebecca Landry playing her final Canada West game for UNBC on Saturday. On the men's side, it was a big victory Friday and a close loss on Saturday. Despite the loss, this team will be heading to the postseason. The team also honored seniors Spencer Ledoux, Chris Ross, and Darren Hunter, who played their last ever home games at the NSC. UNBC will now wait and see who they will play in a single elimination tournament hosted by the University of Manitoba from February 21st to the 25th.
And another note on the Spruce Kings, they made a couple additions to their team just before last weekend's trade deadline. They've acquired 2 forwards, Aiden Carolyn and Vittel Dennis. Carolyn joins the Kings after a strong start to the season with the Brockville Braves of the CCHL. In 37 games, the 18-year-old center recorded 14 goals and 16 assists. He stands at 5'11", weighing 185 pounds. Dennis, meanwhile, is the second addition from the CCHL after starting the year with the Pembroke Lumber Kings. In 35 games, the Ottawa product has recorded 31 points. The 18-year-old stands at 6'1" and weighs 190. Both players are arriving in a couple days to join their new teammates at practice. Well, yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday, the biggest sporting event in all North American sports, with millions of football fans and Swifties tuning in to the big game How would the players perform? Well, Anthony Correa brings you the recap in tonight's CKP3.
Super Bowl 58 and it's San Francisco striking first.
Juwan Jennings, trick play. Oh, this ball's in the air for a long time. McCaffrey's able to pull it down, and he's going in for the touchdown. Juwan Jennings with a touchdown pass. Felt like it took forever to get there.
It was scary. It is wide open, but Bolton had a shot at it.
It wouldn't be a Super Bowl without some sort of trickery. Juwan Jennings to Christian McCaffrey for the touchdown. Not a lot of touchdowns in this game, so we fast forward to the final drive.
3rd and 7. Kelsey, who else? Taken off inside the 20, down to the 10-yard line. With 9 seconds to go to overtime. Butker's kick is good.
Patrick Mahomes needing a field goal, and he finds Taylor's boyfriend. It's the power of love for Travis Kelce as this game is off to overtime. And in overtime,
1st and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
Mahomes to Mecole Hardman, who is on the New York Jets to begin the year, as the two connect for a game-winning touchdown to win the Super Bowl and also take top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Hello from the CKPG Today side. Got a good one coming up over here to kick off the week. Of course, that wedding proposal contest we're running is still on. We're still looking for you to submit your photos online at ckpgtoday.ca. CKPG Today and the Image and White Wedding Gallery are presenting the wedding proposal contest. In case you haven't heard, we need a photo. We need your story of how you got engaged. We're looking for those engaged right now to win a prize package courtesy of the Image and White Wedding Gallery. You can find more info online on that and enter as well. Plus today on the show, we're showing off a little bit of the appetizer menu at Save on Foods. In case you haven't seen, they have a hot food area there. You can get appetizers and spinach and feta rolls, chicken wings. I mean, you've probably eaten a lot from Super Bowl, but if not, maybe Valentine's Day coming up and Family Day coming up as well. Some inspiration for that on the show today. What's your favorite appetizer over there? Spinach and feta rolls are definitely a go-to for me.
I gotta say, chicken wings are definitely a favorite for me. You were actually with me yesterday to watch the Super Bowl. I definitely consumed quite a bit, so that gotta be chicken wings and Skaden Fanshawe. That's my answer. All right, folks, that is our show for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Have yourselves a great night.